as we age, our driving skills tend to decline. It's only normal, but how do you know it has reached a point to call it quits? Very sensitive topic in conversations for families and parents and grandparents. Let's face it, it's extremely rare to find someone that's willing to give up their driver's license. This inevitably leads to some tough and sometimes heated family conversations. Well, to help guide us, we're very pleased to have Susan Sofer on with me in studio. Susan is an occupational therapist, certified in driver rehabilitation, and the owner of ACT, Autonomy Community Therapy. Susan, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thank you for coming into studio. Susan, on a personal side, I'm extremely grateful for having you here and for the very most loyal listeners to Life Unrehearsed. Susan was one of our very first guests. It's going to be 9 years, believe it or not, next March. And we had to do a pilot, a training, like to test, to see how we would do. This is back in the days with Stephanie Erickson. And Susan, you were the one where we did our test interview, didn't it? So thank you. Boy, oh boy, coming full circle. And this is also a very important topic about driver's license and aging. So first of all, can you provide us with a brief overview of what you do?
Sure. As an occupational therapist in general, my role is to assess and determine an individual's ability to perform what we call activities of daily living, or ADLs. And what that means, it's anything you do from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go back to bed. So that includes driving. And what we want to know is the person able to do it safely? And to do that, they require physical, cognitive, and behavioral control. So my role is to determine if their ability to do this activity is affected, whether it's age-related changes, medical conditions, or medications, and whether it impacts their ability to drive safely.
All right. So drive safely, I think, is a concern for everyone. Most people probably think they drive better than maybe they actually do. But let's back it up a little bit and explain what are the regulations in Quebec to be tested once we reach a certain age, isn't it? How does that work?
Okay, so that's recently changed. Now what happens if the licensing bureau doesn't know anything about you since you got your driver's license, at the age of 75, they send you what they call a self-declaration of health status form. It's basically 17 questions that you answer with the tick off yes or no. Questions are very similar to those that we do find when we renew our license. It's at the bottom of your form. Depending on that information, if everything seems fine, you won't hear from the licensing bureau until you're 80 years old. And then at 80, they send you the medical form that your doctor has to fill out and a separate form that your ophthalmologist or optometrist has to fill out. And if everything seems okay in that, then they leave you alone for another 2 years.
And then it's every second year. Is that it? Depends
on the content of the information. If it's a medical condition that could deteriorate and could affect your ability to drive, then they could ask you to submit forms as often as every 6 months.
All right. Now, as we age, we tend to lose, I guess, or decline in certain skills. So what do you see? You're in this every day. And what are you seeing in terms of the skills that we may start to lose a bit?
Well, it's only normal that as we age, our skills will deteriorate. Okay, things change with time. And what's most important to know in any activity is whether the skills are still at an adequate level to perform that activity safely, whether it's to play your sport, whether it's to get yourself dressed or drive. And for us, for driving, what's important is that as we age, it's only normal that we're going to have at least one or more medical conditions that can affect our ability to drive. And people take medications to control those conditions. So we feel as if we're fine. Our vision is very, very important. 90% of the information we need for driving is visual. And as we age, it's the lens of our eyes does tend to lose its ability to focus quickly. And when that happens, our peripheral vision is narrowed. So when you're looking straight ahead, the amount of information you're processing is less. As well, the retina becomes less sensitive to light. What does that mean? So at the age of 60, the eye requires 3 times more light to see than what a teenager needs. And requires twice as long to adjust to a change from lightness to darkness. So especially in and out of tunnels, that type of thing. Also interesting is that young drivers need only about 2 seconds to adjust from near vision to far vision. So for example, when you're looking down at your dashboard to read your speed limit and then you got to look what's happening in front of you, the young driver needs 2 seconds to adjust their focus, but an older driver, 60 and up, will need 3 seconds or more. We can have physical changes that affect our movement, our muscle strength, our agility to respond quick enough. If you have pain in a joint or in your muscles, how bad is that pain? Are you taking medication for it? That can affect your ability as well. And more importantly is cognition. It's only normal that cognition changes, and that can affect how quickly we process information, locate vital road users, how we react to them, and how quickly we process all the info.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Del Vecchio here, and we're talking about seniors and driving with driver rehabilitation specialist Susan Sofer. Very, very quickly, the driver's evaluation, what does it consist of? And then I want to get into how to have that conversation with mom or dad or your grandparents. But now you're in the car, you're doing an evaluation. What's going on there?
Okay, I just want to say quickly, before we go out in the car, we do an appointment in the office. It's 2.5 hours. It's an interview, checking physically how the person's doing, moving their arms, their legs, turning their head. Then there's tests that look at those skills that we need for driving, like the cognition that I mentioned. The road test is a 1-hour road test on a different day so that the person shouldn't be too tired, with myself and a driving instructor in the instructor's car equipped with the dual gas and brake. What we're looking for is safety, looking at the person's ability to see the pertinent information as they approach the intersection. Is there a stop sign? What color is the light? Who has the priority at the stop sign? Are there pedestrians, cyclists? And making those snap decisions that we have to make. When they make turns, what lane are they in? Did they check their blind spots for pedestrians crossing? We're looking at safety.
Safety is the key. Now, you talk about safety, and we've got to wrap it up, but very quickly, so often I've talked to some of my clients, and they're saying, geez, dad shouldn't be driving or mom shouldn't be driving. One thing to say, it's very difficult to have that conversation in 30 seconds or less. What would you suggest? What are some of the important things that a child, the spouse, can tell their parent or husband or wife that, there might be something here?
I think it would be to identify some changes that they've noticed, identify their concerns, to say that they're concerned for them if they can't reach them, they're concerned, are they okay? That what would be most important is to have somebody who does this for a living to assess, is it still safe for them to continue driving? And if they deem yes, then fantastic. But we just want to make sure that you're safe, because nobody, especially the driver, wants to feel responsible should anything happen to them or someone else. And also what's critical is usually the driver is in decent physical health, and God forbid you're in an accident, then that really affects the driver afterwards.
Wonderful words of advice. Susan, thank you so much. How can our listeners get a hold of you?
Feel free to call me at the office, 514-733-1414, and I have a website, actdriving.com.
Wonderful. That's Susan Sofer. Susan's an occupational therapist, certified in driver rehabilitation, and the owner of ACT, Autonomy Community Therapy. Susan, thank you very much.